Welcome everybody to my first video in my new James Bond series leading up to the new film No Time to Die, released next year in April. Every week leading up to that movie, I will be reviewing a James Bond film on Tuesdays. I am so excited to start this series. We're going to be starting with Dr. No, the first film that was released in 1962. I am a huge James Bond fan, and I've been getting up every Saturday morning to watch movies with my daughter. She doesn't know what's going on, but she enjoys watching the movies with me, and I've just been a big fan of the series for such a long time. I've played the video games, I've watched all of the movies, I've collected some of the Funko Pops and figures. I got Goldfinger on vinyl. There's so much that I have for James Bond memorabilia, and I just have such fond memories of going to the library to get the VHS for Dr. No and all the other James Bond movies and watching them and just being at awe with what I was watching. I'm really excited to talk about Dr. No. I've actually seen Dr. No in theaters, not back in 1962, but back in 2012, and it was the 50th anniversary of James Bond, and I saw it at an AMC. They were showed at the screening of Dr. No, and they were giving out the box set here, and I actually won this box set along with the poster at that screening. There's a tick underneath my seat that I won that, and this is actually one of the first videos I did on my channel back in 2012 where I showed this off and was kind of talking about it. So that was a blast from the past, bringing this out and putting it on to the set for you guys. But Dr. No, enough of me talking about James Bond. Dr. No was released in 1962 and starred Sean Connery as James Bond. Dr. No is about a resourceful British government agent who seeks answers in a case involving the disappearance of a colleague and the disruption of the American space program. This was directed by Terrence Young. Out of all the James Bond movies, I've always felt that Dr. No is the tamest out of all of them. And that's not a bad thing, because Dr. No is easily one of my favorite James Bond movies. But the setting in Jamaica and the focus on Dr. No and the setup for James Bond and Honey Rider, I felt like James Bond is easily one of the tamest films. It's not heavy on action, and when it is filmed very nicely. By not having a lot of explosions, that does not get in the way of telling a good story. This is the simple story, a character-driven story with a lot of suspense at every corner. James Bond is sent to Jamaica to investigate a disappearance to see if it's regards to the CIA or a case involving the disruption of rocket launches from radio jamming. I've always admired the storyline for Dr. No, the slow progression of unraveling who is Dr. No and what this case may be. Is it the CIA, or is it much more from Spectre like Dr. No? I think this film did a good job of revealing Dr. No at the right time. There was a lot of build-up for the character and James Bond and who he is and what he is doing in Jamaica, and him trying to figure it out as well. And there's not a lot of mention of Dr. No in the first two acts of the movie. And once we do get the introduction of Dr. No, it puts everything into place. And I like that choice of having Dr. No be revealed more towards the end. With Dr. No being a Chinese-German scientist, I think that he is a good match for James Bond. James Bond is a classy, smooth agent. He's like lady killer, and he just has all the right things. And we'll talk more about Sean Connery, but I think that Joseph Wiseman playing Dr. No, he had the right amount of intimidation. He liked things very organized, but he still was intimidating, and you still feared him as a villain. Dr. No previously worked for a Chinese crime organization. Now he works for Spectre. And growing up, I never really paid attention to Spectre, and I always heard that name, but I never understood that it was in Dr. No until watching it in 2012 in theaters and seeing it again just recently. I was like, oh yeah, there's Spectre in this movie. It's not like a big part of the movie, but it is nice for that mention. And seeing other villains that are not Blofeld to be connected to Spectre. So I think Dr. No is a really good villain. He is played greatly by Joseph Wiseman. I really like Joseph Wiseman as Dr. No. He is very classy, but he's also very sinister as well. Sean Connery is great as James Bond. He is easily my favorite actor to play James Bond. I think Sean Connery has a way about him that just is so smooth, and it seems very easy for him to be on screen. Everything that Sean Connery does is so simple, and you believe that he is going to get out of any situation. You believe that he is the right man to put on a mission. Sean Connery was so good at the role, and I absolutely loved him in every single performance. Goldfinger being my favorite performance from Sean Connery as James Bond, but Dr. No is a good introduction to the character and a good way to set up as Sean Connery being James Bond. Now we have the James Bond girl in every single James Bond movie, and Ursula Andress plays Honey Rider. She isn't introduced till the end of the film as James Bond heads to an island where Dr. No is, and she is on the beach collecting shells. Honey Rider is easily capable of protecting herself, but she also plays that damsel in distress very well. She's beautiful in the film. I think she was good for a first Bond girl. And the song that she sings on the beach stuck in my head after I watched her scene.
Underneath the mango tree, my honey.
Director Terrence Young did a great job of keeping the pace for the film. It never felt boring at all. Like I said, there's not a lot of action in this movie. Terrence Young does a great job of keeping scenes very interesting, as well as entertaining and suspenseful leading up to Dr. No. I love the setting for this movie in Jamaica. It's very calm, it's very relaxing, so it doesn't seem like there'd be a big sinister villain in the movie because of the setting for the film, but it is one of my favorite settings for a James Bond film. It's calm, it's relaxing. I want to go to Jamaica. In the opening for this film, all the James Bond openings have like this big song. People reveal who the singer is and has an elaborate opening. It's literally like 3 blind mice.
Three blind mice in a row, 3 blind mice, there they go, marching down the street single file.
And it's very simple but elegant and sets the tone for this film that match that setting very well. So I think that the opening for this film matches the setting of Jamaica and the overall tone and pacing for this film. I think Dr. No is such a great introduction to the James Bond series. I love the villain, very sinister, but also very classy. Sean Connery had a lot of charm as James Bond. A lot of the scenes do work. There isn't an over amount of action, and when there is action, it does work. It's filmed very nicely. It doesn't allow for it to get in the way of telling a good story. This film had a good pacing for it. I was always interested in the story, always interested in what James Bond was doing. And him being picked up at the airport and immediately getting thrown into this investigation that he was doing. And so I've always admired Dr. No. I was happy to see it in theaters in 2012 on the big screen. It always remains one of my favorite James Bond movies to date. It's a simple film, and out of all the James Bond movies, I think it's the tamest one. And like I said, that's not a bad thing. I really, really do enjoy Dr. No. It is my favorite film, and I can't wait to talk about it more with the ranking video that I'll have come No Time to Die is released. So we'll have a ranking video for that. We'll also have a James Bond actor ranking. We'll also have the ranking for all of the James Bond openings. So much stuff for James Bond coming your way once April comes around. But every week on Tuesdays, I will be releasing a video for a James Bond review. And I've been enjoying watching the James Bond movies Saturday mornings in preparation for each review coming on Tuesdays. So stay tuned for more James Bond videos every Tuesday, so look out for those. But Dr. No, great film, great first James Bond movie, and I can't wait to talk about more James Bond films. And I'm going to go ahead and give Dr. No an A+. Have you guys seen Dr. No? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this film. I'm really, really excited to talk more about James Bond movies. Are you a James Bond fan? What are some of your favorite memories with the character and the movie as well? Are you looking forward to No Time to Die? Let me know in the comment section down below. My name is JustinWatchesMovies. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more upcoming videos like this. More James Bond videos coming your way. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy.